What is good, chat? It's your boy Hobo Drobo back with some more Kingdom Rush battles. And today we're going to be checking out Onslaught because I want to show you guys my favorite strategy that can help you guys unlock Beresad. You're going to want to climb to the arena where you get Hacksaw before you hop into Onslaught because he's an easy free-to-play hero to achieve, and he's going to be able to put out a lot of that single target HP that'll help you win these Onslaught matches. A lot of Hacksaw's value comes from that one-shot ability, and I think if you can get that timing down and line it up with the high HP troops, you'll see that he actually provides a lot more value than some of the other heroes. Allura is another one of those heroes that gets a lot of value from microing, so I wanted to put it up to the test to see if this strategy can work against Allura, and I was able to get a couple good matches for you guys. But the star of the show today is going to be the Dwarven Artillery. That is something that I cannot talk enough about. The reason why the Dwarven Artillery is so good is that you're getting all of that damage for a low amount of gold, on top of both of its skills being really good. And one of the reasons I like the Dwarven Artillery over something like the Glacial Druid is because I feel like the Dwarven Artillery is just more consistent on your own side at putting out that raw damage, and then you do have that skill where you can send the rocket to your opponent's side and stun all the towers, and if your opponent does have a Dwarven mecha, it can definitely be tricky because you're not getting that value anymore, but overall, in most of my matches, I'm able to use this pretty well, and I feel like in this map for Onslaught specifically, it just cooks everything coming down that left lane. I am running my normal strategy outside of using Hacksaw, and that includes Archmage, although I feel like you don't even really need Archmage on this map specifically. It depends what they're sending your way though. However, in most of my matches, I've been able to get away with just Artillery, Barbarians, and Royal Archers. Ironhide actually recently put out a stats sheet for all of the accumulated data for the first 10 days of the game across all of its players, and what really stood out to me is that the three most used towers are Royal Archers, Dwarven Artillery, and Barbarians. And with this map, I'm using my normal strategy, putting the Barbarians in the back with the Burberry on, but I'm also not using those high choke points because I feel like I'm just not going to get as much value, and while it's definitely difficult for Onslaught sometimes because you want to kill things as fast as possible, sometimes it's just more reliable to have those solid choke points. It's also important to see what your opponent's doing. If they are taking those high choke points, you may just have to give it up and go for it. And so you can see here, I'm actually flooding the screen with Barbarians because that's going to be my most reliable damage output for those air stragglers, specifically the balloons. And so while the artillery doesn't really target air troops outside of its one rocket ability, it's nice that it just cleans up everything around it so that the Barbarians can then have the space to attack those air troops like I was saying in my last videos. Now, to make sure you're synergizing this strategy with Hacksaw, you want to make sure that the Dwarven Artillery is placed up front, because you want them to clear all of those small troops coming through. That way Hacksaw can lock onto the big targets and use his one-shot abilities for those troops, rather than wasting it on the small HP troops. I think this spell lineup is still super goated. My Lightning is level 8 though, so that definitely gives me an upper advantage in Stadium. However, it's nice that Onslaught caps everything at level 5, so you can get experimental and try different things even if you don't have it leveled up yet. Speaking of Stadium, it's in a really rough shape right now, and I'm around 7k medals, and I've only played bots the last few days. So I've been hopping into Onslaught instead and using Hacksaw because it makes the game more difficult. Onslaught really starts to show where there's problems from a balancing perspective on the booster side, because when you get a dragon or a golem sent your way and there's nothing going the other way, there's almost just no way you're going to be able to take it out in time compared to your opponent. And so definitely don't beat yourself up if the matches aren't going your way. I saw some recommendations of me doing more long-form content as well as some live streams, and I definitely think live streams are something I could do in the future once I have a better setup to get my iPhone feed running to my laptop or my computer. And then for long-form content, I think I just need to write a bigger script. These videos are mainly just done off the top of my head with things that I've been thinking of in the last few days. And since there's an ever-changing ecosystem in this game, I think it's going to be a lot easier to do that daily form content where I'm just kind of talking and speaking off of my mind, because there's so much changing with a new game that comes out. I also don't want to make too much long-form content in the beginning when I could make something like a tier list and then all of a sudden everything is changed right away. And so I think talking about it mostly in these videos over this gameplay is going to be a better format, at least for the beginning. Just like Clash Royale though, if they start putting out monthly content, it's going to be easy to bang out videos here and there because there will be a lot to talk about. I can definitely already see my content getting better over time, and it's only been like a week since the game came out. Although I was rewatching my first video recently, and I'm surprised I didn't get more hate for that. Which should lead me to my next shout out, which is yesterday's video, which I thought was an absolute banger. Those matchups were really cool, and it's probably the last time I'm going to get high matches in Stadium for at least a while. Which is why I'm glad that at least Onslaught is a thing, And while it's not my most favorite event, and I think I do prefer the normal game mode overall, it's just nice to be able to play some other players for once. And since the towers are all capped at level 5, it actually is making me think about starting new strategies. Although this one is just super goated, so I wanted to make sure I got this one down and show you guys in Onslaught that it does actually work. You can see here these artilleries are going to be amazing for dealing with these huge waves coming down the left side. I feel like there's just not another tower in the game that's balanced enough to where it can deal with everything at once. I bet if they helped the Glacier Druid by buffing its overall slowness, it may make that tower more viable, or with the Tesla it should be able to chain to more targets. And the Dwarven Artillery is only a common card, so you should be able to get it at a decently high level. But I saw another thing on the stat sheet that Ironhide put out, that there's been over 250,000 players that have logged onto this game already, with there being over 100k daily players in the last 10 days. And to me, that is crazy. You can see we made light work of our opponent there, and I'm going to show you guys another match just so I can continue to push the agenda that Hacksaw is a great hero to use. He's my favorite by far in the entire lineup, even over the dragons right now. But if Ironhide ain't capping and they really have 100k daily players since the launch, I think that just goes to show how much of an international audience they have. And I think that's beneficial in the long run just for the community and Ironhide as a whole, because you're getting a lot of unique perspectives from different types of people. And I'm somewhat proud to rep America, but I'm also excited to see that there's a lot of international people watching my content as well. And I want to take this time to give a shout out to you guys because the content support has been awesome so far, and I'm surprised I haven't gotten more hate for some of my blasphemous mistakes that I've had, but I'll continue to put out what I can. And what you learn about Hobo Jobo here over time is that I'm not always going to be right, and I'm not always going to have a perfect strategy, but I'm going to evolve with how the game evolves, and I think that that'll make for interesting content because you won't just be seeing the progression of Kingdom Rush battles, but you'll be seeing the progression of Hobo Drobo, and you can't really ask for much more than that. But what have you guys thought of Onslaught so far? Do you feel like the event is fair, or do you think it needs balancing? Or do you think if they had just fixed the boosters, it would make the event a lot more fun? Have you gotten Beresad yet, or are you still trying to fight for that legendary dragon? I saw somebody pull Ashbite from a daily chest today in the community Discord, and I could not be more happy for that person, and who knows, that could be you next. But I'm going to try and take advantage of the opportunity that we have here with Onslaught by creating more decks. And I think the first one I'm going to try is Arcane plus Dwarp. I was talking about that in one of my previous videos, and I saw a lot of bots using that strategy with, I think it was Day, and that combo is really, really good for dealing maximum damage, probably better than my deck. However, the stalling potential is just simply not as good, so I don't think it would work as well in Stadium, but I'm definitely going to give it a try in Onslaught here soon. Also, Ironhide, please buff Vesper. It would do wonders for this game and the Kingdom Alliance community. Being an avid Kingdom Rush Alliance supporter may make me lose a lot of credibility. I am completely fine with that. So let me know what you guys think. I actually had an idea where I wanted to make a fully pay-to-win deck with the Battle Mecha and the Necromancer, because I think the Necromancer is a lot more mediocre than what people say about it, and who knows, maybe it could surprise people and show them that you don't need a pay-to-win deck to win in this game. So try this deck in Onslaught. Let me know how you guys deal with it. Is there any little tweaks here or there that you would adjust? I know a lot of people use Vines or Polymorph with it, and I think if you're struggling with those high HP troops, definitely try out Polymorph because that may help you. But again, I think if you're slowing down the troops and letting the artillery take care of those clumps, it's not too difficult to take care of those high HP troops with the barbarians, especially those dragons and those thunderbirds. So I'm going to head out for now. We made quick work of that guy as well, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.